I was trying to figure out if there's another patch beforehand that will throw you even more into the wrench. Because I like what you said earlier in the show where it's like, hey, all finals, so these are the top teams in each region, we're sloppy. We're not as good as what we had imagined them to be. And so I think there's a world where Worlds itself creates an environment that either makes people nervous, throws them off their game, whatever it is, that'll lead to opportunities for teams like NA, who are all kind of coin flippy on the day, right? To find success. So
yeah, I mean, I agree with that to some extent. I think the problem is that NA is like kind of coin flippy on like how good the players play individually, but there is like consistent macro mistakes. And even when like other regions are playing poorly, like for example, I think JDG had a pretty bad final. I think Kanavi had a pretty bad final in LPL. They still have like the good fundamentals that I feel like will really fuck with NA teams. Like good support jungle roams early in the game, good vision control, and like even if they like troll fights every now and then, the fact that they have those like consistent pillars of their gameplay to fall back on, I think just puts them in a better situation. That it's like, it's not like if TSM plays against one of these teams, like TSM plays against JDG, they can just play like 10% better on the day and they'll end up winning. Like they have to play like substantially better than the enemy team individually to win, because they don't have like the like, you know, the auto win you know, mechanics or whatever that their team has like built in, where it's like, okay, we just know how to like choke out a team with support jungle. And if the other team ends up playing slightly better on the day, let's say they start that game and for some reason Yagao is really on one and Yagao just beats Bjergsen in lane, then it's just going to be like turbo doom for TSM. So that's like the main reason. Like, I don't think that it's completely unwinnable for NA. It's just like the chances are low for sure.
Ellis, you have anything to add to that?
No.
Before I pose the next question. All right. So the next question I want to ask, as we're getting close to the end of the show here, is I put up the list. What would it take for us to start believing in NA? Is it like achieving a certain stage? Is it like, hey, look, we're now in the semifinals, NA's top 4. That's good enough for us, and then we can believe in an NA team? Or like what does it take? Getting out of groups is good enough, because we're always going to have this kind of like, hey, we're sloppy and scrappy and we're going to definitely put on a show and give it our best shot punching upwards kind of feel.
We're not even scrappy. That's the thing. That's what's scary about NA, is we don't actually scrap that much. We're like very controlled, but then our macro is weak. So we're very like controlled and slow, but we don't have good game plans and fundamentals. So when it gets to like dragons and barons and setups and things like that, they're not clean enough to actually execute and be like, this is like a favorable position. If NA gets to a 30-minute dragon fight versus G2, they're just going to have like, they know how to set it up. They know when to burn. They know when to turn. They know how to play it perfectly. They know how to side lane, and that's going to be a victory. Whereas before, you know, the teams would have certain strengths, or regions would have certain strengths. So Korea was more controlled than China, for example, but Korea was very strong macro-wise. Like their setups were good, their vision control was good. The way that they used Tracker's Knife when that was in the game was really solid. They would set up good vision pockets and play around those vision pockets well. So even the fact that they were slower was still like a strength of theirs, because they could get themselves in winnable game states. LPL has always been a really scrappy region. It's always been a really all the LPL teams are really aggressive. They take a lot of fights, but they set up those fights well. They do a lot of good support roams. They play around specific power spikes. I think the Dragon meta really benefits LPL in general, just because they like to fight, and now you have like, you know, more definite things to fight around. So they have that strength there. I don't really know what NA's angle is, besides for we play some picks that other teams don't play, which is why my point earlier was the only way I see NA doing well is if teams disrespect NA, or NA just comes up with like some really niche picks that people just don't completely understand, and they pull them out in games. They get a couple of these champions in multiple different games, and they can kind of like cheese out a group stage.
I mean, I don't like everything NA's best thing is weaker than every other region. Whatever you want to call NA best at, they're weaker than every other region. That's just how it is. So in what universe does anyone slate them to ever be considered favorites to get out of any group? Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, let's do that.
They're not better. They're not better mechanically. They're not better macro. They're not better at drafting.
Yep.
They don't have anything special going for them this year in terms of like picks. There's no super star-studded powerhouse players that are just going to, dominate. This is the worst year for NA going into Worlds.
And it's the hardest year.
That's just the sad reality. It's the hardest year and it's the worst year for them in terms of team strength that's going in. All three of the teams are relatively evenly matched, and it's not a good look. If you had a 3-on-3 like Rift Rivals or something with EU and NA, EU would just come out on top. This is not including LPL and LCK. So in what world do you ever put them as the favorites in any of the groups? It doesn't make any sense. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't shitting on them. It's just like, what the fuck,
You need a Machi Esports in there, man. You just need a Machi Esports in your group, or it's go next.
You need the team that's above NA in your group to get sniped by the other two random teams, and then just have a disaster game against NA once, so that NA is 1-1 against them or something. Like that could be a world, right? Like that's it.
I mean, it's happened, right? Team Liquid beat DRX, so not that was a disaster game, but like it
No,
can
it wasn't
be
a.
done.
Yeah, but TL was much stronger, I think, last year than any relative to the tournament than any team.
I agree. I just wanted to say there was a precedence for it. So what I wanted to do was let's look at TSM here, because they are our number one team. Oof. That's awful to say. And put them up against the number 2s of any other region. Are they better than Fnatic? Are they better than DRX? No. Are they better than JD?
No.
Okay.
I think so.
So that means TSM is going to get one of those number 2s, right? I'm not missing any region. Okay. So you can get TSM, and let's throw in the hardest one. Like, let's throw in what, JD or DRX?
Well, the thing is, like, so there's multiple different pool 2s. So for example, here China gets 2 pool 2s, right? So
my bad. So it's JD.
So
or
like
Suning.
Suning, yeah, it's JDG or Suning, but Suning is pretty fucking good, man. I actually really like how Suning plays, but I'm a jungle fanboy, and I love SOFM. Like, this guy is just a 1v9 jungler. He's just carry jungler. Besides the fact that he builds Warmogs every single game for some reason, I think he's really sick. So maybe you could get Suning in there. But the thing that you have to hope for is one of these teams like really underperforming in group stage, which we've seen before, right? Like FPX really underperformed last group stage. They're almost losing to the wild card region. Like they played really bad. So it can happen, but the teams need to actually play bad.
Also, I didn't realize that our seed 2 is actually pool 3. We're the only region that has that, right?
Yep, we are the worst region, Digon. Yes. Fuck, man. No. I hate seeing that.
That hurts.
Well, it's almost doomed for you.
Because
if you're a pool 3, that means you're guaranteed 1 pool 1 and 1 pool 2.
What is the best thing that FlyQuest can pull here?
Or is it? I don't know.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. You that means you're gonna play G2, Dam1, or top with JDG, Suning, Fnatic, or DRX.
I guess you gotta hope for. I
top
guess you gotta hope
DRX.
G2? Like G2 DRX. I think. It's
the pools are definitive, right? The way that Riot's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not.
It's all over.
It's all over.
It's all over. Maybe if there was a world where like 3 NA teams could end up in one group.
And then we've got our 4 favorites to get out. The PCS region is the 3rd favorite. But
actually, I think what you'd want for TSM. So the more I'm looking at it, the best group for TSM possible. So they're the 1 seed, right?
Yeah, they're the 1 seed.
They're the 1 seed. You don't actually want the European 2 seed in your group, because you want to actually get Mad Lions, which I think would be a 4 seed. So you want Mad Lions in your group if you're TSM, because that's like at least the most beatable European team. So you actually want a really strong. You want like JDG in your group or DRX in your group.
DRX is the most beatable Korean team. Going to Worlds.
So I would say TSM's dream group would be TSM, DRX, Machi Esports, and Mad Lions. That's probably the best fucking group they can get. Unless, obviously, the playing teams is like you get like a wild card team.
Yeah. Mad Lions or... Yeah, I mean, if TL doesn't qualify, then you could be playing Rainbow Six or good old Legacy Esports. Legacy Esports. This is their return back from Season 3?
Yeah.
I think they were the Season 3 IWC qualifiers.
It's rough in OP. Dude, you don't want to talk OPL. I actually watched their finals. It's so crazy. Like, the enemy team has Kassadin, and they're drafting triple AP topside into Kassadin. Like, it's next level crazy.
Nice. They worked through it. Nice.
Yep.
Sorry, Orda. All the Orda fans. I don't know how many Orda fans we have. But yeah, so the idea is that Talon, PSG Talon. Why is PSG investing in a PCS team? Anyway, Paris Saint-Germain, Talon, moving from Europe now over here. TL, Mad, and Mad Lions and LGD would qualify. God, that would be crazy if one of these other teams got out. That'd be
who can get out there? I mean, it's literally Mad Lions, LGD, TL, and then the 4 seed could be what? Unicorns of Love, I think, is pretty strong.
Yeah.
I'd say they're probably favorites.
No,
I don't know PSG Talon, so I can't say them. But I would say Unicorns would probably be the strongest.
Unified is a familiar name. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the things, like I say this every year, like the Japanese teams every year get better and better because they scrim with China and Korea. That can't be understated. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
they are progressively getting better every single year. Like the speed at which NA can't really match. Like NA, what does NA do? They can scrim.
They can scrim
Rainbow Seven,
right?
the most winningest team in Latin America.
Wait, what did you say? What did you call them?
Did I just say Mexico? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, why did you say Mexico? Holy fuck. What
the
fuck just happened?
Wait, is that the proper way to say it?
That is the way that Mexicanos would say it, Los Latinos.
What Jesus Christ.
Fuck?
Yeah.
Mexico. Okay. All right. Okay. They can scrim Mexico.
I'm just introducing
hold on, let me fix that.
L.S. Rivera over here.
Fucking Atrox, let me get that out of my system really quick.
Atrox and Tajiks and Mexico.